Now, in this video, we're going to go through the 6 priorities, the main things that you need to focus on if you want to lose 20, 40, 60 pounds plus, lower your A1C and achieve clinical remission with your type 2 diabetes. Avoid all medication. Now, the first 3 priorities are going to revolve around diet and nutrition, because you can go to the gym every day, you can sleep well, you can eat more salads, you can eat more vegetables, you can drink your water. None of those things guarantee that you are going to lose weight or lower your A1C. So, let's get into the first priority, and that is your caloric intake, your calorie intake. It doesn't matter whether you follow keto, paleo, Weight Watchers, doesn't matter what meal plan you follow, it doesn't matter what you do. If you are not consuming fewer calories than what your body expends, you will not elicit fat loss. End of period. There's no way to shortcut it, there's no way to cheat it. You've got to consume fewer calories than what your body expends. Now, this is called a calorie deficit. Now, you can count calories. You haven't got to count them, but calories still count, right? I would recommend that you download a tracker app and you just track what you eat for a month so that you can understand what's in the food that you eat, right? Or you can go about it somewhat intuitively. Now, this isn't going to lead to the same amount of consistency and therefore weight loss or reductions in blood sugars, but it can still work, right? We can swap breakfast for a lower calorie breakfast, like replacing your oatmeal or your toast with a protein shake, let's just say, or eggs, right? Something that's lower in calories. You know, we can swap, we can get some of our portion of rice or spaghetti or whatever it may be at dinner time. We can still have it, still have the rice, still have the spaghetti, but just have half the amount and replace it with some salad or vegetables, right? There are so many different ways to slice the pie. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how you do it, but we want to reduce the amount of calories we consume. You know, you can swap your snacks for lower calorie snacks or cut out one of your snacks entirely. Now, the important thing is that you haven't got to go on a diet. You have not got to go on a diet. You haven't got to get your life and turn it upside down. Absolutely not. All of the ladies that I coach, they all eat bread, pasta, rice, sweets. They eat whatever the heck they want to eat, and they still lose weight. They still lower their A1C, and they still achieve remission because I show them, I teach them how they're able to eat their favourite everyday foods and still adhere to the overarching calorie goal. Because if you adhere to that calorie goal, you will elicit fat loss. To some extent, it doesn't matter what food sits within those calories either, right? It doesn't really matter what food sits within those calories. Now, there is a bit of an exception to that, which we're going to get to now on your second priority. So the first priority is we've got to reduce the amount of calories we consume if we want to elicit fat loss. End of. There's no way around that, right? So, that's your first priority to work on. Your second priority is the amount of carbohydrates you consume. We've got to regain control of our carbohydrate intake. That doesn't mean you've got to eliminate them. Absolutely not. For many of you, it might be 100 to 120 grams of carbs per day. 100 to 120 grams of carbs a day. Now, again, just like I mentioned earlier, you can go on a tracker app and you can track your carbs. That's what I would do for a month, or you can do it somewhat intuitively. Now, again, that's not going to lead to the same amount of consistency and therefore results. You're not going to lose as much weight. Your blood sugars are not going to be as good. I recommend that everyone track what they eat for just a month so that they can understand what's in the food that they eat. All right, but we've got to set a carb goal. We must set a carb goal. This is incredibly important because if you're over-consuming carbs, unfortunately, your blood sugars are going to remain out of control. Your blood sugars are going to remain high, right? So the first focus, calories. The second focus is carbs. We want to make sure that we're adhering to, let's say, 100 to 120 grams of carbs a day. The third priority is protein, right? Many of you ladies, I would be aiming for 80 to 100 grams of protein, 80 to 100 to 100. Any more than that is fine too, but that's where I would start with. Now, you can reach for protein shakes, protein bars, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, chicken, any kind of meat, any kind of poultry, turkey, beef, pork, cod, shrimp. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you get it from, right? All that matters is that you like it, right? But aim for 80 to 100 grams of protein. That is going to do a few things. First of all, it's going to keep you feeling fuller. Protein reduces the levels of our hunger hormone called ghrelin, leading to a higher level of satiety. You're going to be fuller for longer. If you're fuller for longer, cravings are going to be easier to manage. You're going to want to snack less. You're going to want to eat smaller portions. All of that leads to less calories consumed, less carbs consumed, right? The higher your protein, the fuller you're going to be, the easier it's going to be to stick to your calories and carbs. Therefore, the more consistent you're going to be. Therefore, the better the result at the end of the week, at the end of the month. You're going to lose more weight. Your blood sugars are going to come down more. So the first benefit of protein is satiety. The second benefit is protein is insulinotropic. What that means is the consumption of protein leads to a release of insulin. Just like injecting insulin, that insulin is then going to contribute towards lowering blood sugar levels. Right, so when you have a high protein meal, there is more insulin. That insulin then goes towards lowering blood sugars. Dead simple. Plus, on top of that, it helps us maintain muscle mass. Protein helps us maintain muscle mass, which is a very, very good thing, because whenever we're losing weight, whenever we're in a calorie deficit, we're achieving fat loss, we're also atrophying. We're losing muscle mass. We don't want to lose muscle mass because muscle mass allows us to stay fit and healthy. It allows us to stay mobile, get up out the chair, get up out of the floor. It allows our metabolic rate to be higher too. So we want to make sure we're hitting 80 to 100 grams of protein. Now, the fourth priority is going to be your level of preparation. Now, it's different for everyone. Whether you write a shopping list, go grocery shopping, prepare meals ahead of time, or whether you just write a shopping list and go grocery shopping, then leave it there. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you have the sufficient level of preparation for you to have a successful week, depending on your lifestyle, your schedule, your routine, which is different for everyone. Right? Different for everyone. The most important thing is that you have the foods that you need readily available when you need them. Let me say that again. The most important thing is that you have the food that you need readily available when you need it. Because if that doesn't happen, you're going to reach for easy, convenient foods, and easy, convenient foods are typically higher in calories, higher in carbs, which means you're more likely to overconsume calories, overconsume carbs, and therefore lack of results. Dead simple. Dead simple. So make sure we're getting sufficiently prepared. A successful week starts the weekend prior. Okay, a successful week starts the weekend prior when you get everything that you need for the following week, because otherwise you're going to reach for takeout, you're going to get home, you're bored, you're tired, you're stressed, you open the fridge, you open the cupboards, there's nothing in there. So what do? You're either going to go grocery shopping, which you're probably not because you're tired and you're stressed, or you're going to pick up your phone, you're going to get Uber Eats, you're going to go down to the shop, you're going to get pizza, whatever, which is fine, you can eat those foods, but if you're doing that all of the time, you're probably going to overconsume calories and carbs. If you're doing that 5 days a week, you're probably going to overconsume, and then at the end of the month, you're going to wonder why weight loss hasn't happened and why blood sugars are still high. So, number 4, make sure you get sufficiently prepared. Number 5, sleeping better, right? Now, this is important because a lack of sleep leads to an increase in that same hunger hormone that protein decreases. Lack of sleep increases it, which leads to more cravings, more snacking, bigger meals. Lack of sleep leads to a bigger or a hungrier person, which means that obviously you're more likely to consume more calories, you're more likely to consume more carbs, which leads to a lack of result. Everything all leads back to that, essentially, right? Plus, what version of you is going to be more disciplined? What version of you is going to do the things that you need to do more consistently? The version of you that slept 7 hours or the version of you that slept 5? Which version of you is going to be more disciplined and more consistent? The version of you that slept 7 hours sleep. Now, 7 hours for you right now might not be practical, and that's fine. Just aim for 30 minutes longer than what you're getting. Aim for 30 minutes longer than what you're getting. Get good at that, get consistent at that, and then add other intentions on top of that over time. The final priority, and that's tracking your progress. You cannot manage what is not measured. You cannot manage what is not measured. So, we want to make sure that we're stepping on the scales. We want to make sure that we're taking body measurements every 2-3 weeks, and we want to make sure we're taking progress photos, right? We want to step on the scales, and we need to remember that the scales are going to fluctuate. Now, the fluctuation has nothing to do with body fat and everything to do with water weight. You can fluctuate 2, 3, 4 pounds of water on any given day. Water from sodium, water from carbs, aka glycogen, water from varying levels of hydration, water from hormones. So many areas for us to gain water from. And in fact, in many cases, we can gain water quicker than we can lose body fat. In many cases, which means we can lose 2 pounds of body fat this week. It doesn't mean you're going to see it on the scale this week, because water weight can mask it, making it look like it's not happening when in reality it is. So we have to be patient. We have to remember that. We know, though, if we're adhering to calories, we will elicit fat loss. If we're adhering to calories, we will elicit fat loss. It's impossible not to, right? If you go 3 weeks without a new low weight, then it's because you're eating more calories than what you think you are, which is very, very, very common. In fact, just before 2018 or 2019, there was a study that had a group of people, participants, go into a lab setting. They had to track the food that they were eating, right? The people that were running the study knew exactly what these guys were eating, right? Now, their job was to track it, right? Their job was to just, oversee it. Now, on average, the participants underreported their calories by 334, something like that. Underreported. So they thought they were consuming 1,300 calories, but they were actually consuming over 1,600, and that was on average. Now, if that's happening to you, that is going to more than halve the rate of fat loss. More than halve it. What we coach is called the remission roadmap. It encapsulates everything, right? It's baseline breakthrough, which is the things that you need to be starting with. The 2 to 4 easy, specific things that are going to get you 6 to 10 pounds of fat loss in the next month, as well as dropping 30 to 40 points in the next month too. Now, that's just with changing 2 to 4 easy, specific things. Over the first month, we start to add other things on top of that. That's called baseline breakthrough. After that comes the carb regulation protocol, which is where I show all of the ladies how they're able to eat bread, pasta, rice, sweets, whatever, and still adhere to their calories and carbs, whether they're counting them or not, and still lose weight, lower their A1C, and achieve remission so they never have to go on a diet ever again. So they can eat the same foods as the rest of the family so that it's sustainable and enjoyable. And then the last bit, the last step, the last pillar is lifestyle realignment, where we focus on all of the habits and the lifestyle that leads to long-lasting, life-lasting results. That's called the remission roadmap. Down below, I can put a short video to that, just so you can check it out, where I walk through it in a little bit more detail. If you want to check that out, it'll be in the description. If you found this helpful, let me know down below, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Take care.